Hey YouTube, this is Anthony with Vapehead, and I'm going to try to pump out 5 videos today. The reason is I am totally behind on everything. I'm behind on the vape mail that I've gotten in. I have not been able to do any reviews on any of this stuff yet. The only thing I was able to do is put out one yesterday on the Canthal wire that I got in. And I wanted to go back and do the reviews for the rest of the stuff that I've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing that today. Um, and I'm going to start today off with stand up for me. Nothing ever wants to stand up. Okay, tell you what, you just lay there. How about that? That works too. Alright. Now, I'm going to start the review, pardon the train. I'm going to start the review with the Maraxus that I got in. I'll show you guys what it looks like real quick. This is the Maraxus, or as it's more commonly known, the Ironman or the Transformer, just depending on who you're talking to. Some people call it the Ironman, some people call it the Transformer. I just call it a really cool looking piece. Now, this is a clone. This is not the real thing. This is not a real Maraxus. This is a clone. It's got the little logo icon in it and the fake little serial number. Mine's 8471. Like that really makes any difference at all. But it's a really nicely done piece. Now, one thing I will say, I got this off of eBay. As a matter of fact, all my stuff that's come in has come from eBay, except for one piece that I bought. It was the only thing that did not come from eBay. It was a piece that I had bought from a local vendor here who obviously doesn't know what he's doing, much less know what he's got. But it was I did a review on it already. It was the H Cigar steam turbine clone. But the Maraxus came from eBay, and I bought it from a dealer whose name is RDT underscore ventures, and I'm going to put that name and everything in the descriptions and the link and all that. But that's where I got this right here from. I bought it from eBay from RTD Ventures. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to read off my laptop. Yeah, that's what this right here is. Now, there's 7 different pieces to this thing once you break it all down. But one thing I wanted to point out real quick, right here's the fire button. I'm not sure you can see it real well, but right there's the fire button. You press it down here, and of course it comes out up there. But if you look real close, you can see that the fire button is actually sunk in below this plastic piece right here, which the plastic piece will come out. And this thing's run by a spring. It's spring loaded. But when you screw this down in here and you get it good and snug, just like I've got it, that firing pin should be right at the bottom of this ring. In other words, the top of the firing pin should be right at the bottom of the inside of this ring. If you order one of these offline, I don't care where you get it from. I don't care if you buy it off eBay. I don't care if you buy it off Fast Tech. I don't care where you get it from. But if you buy this particular clone off of any site, anywhere, and for whatever reason, when you get it, if the firing pin is not below this ring, if it's sitting flush with the top of this ring, there's two ways of solving that issue. Number one, you can turn around and you can put it back in the box, slap your little shipment label on it, write a little note in there, hey, this thing's not working correctly, and mail it back. Because if this particular piece is up here, in other words, if it's sitting just like that, flush, when you put your battery in, if that firing pin is flush with that cap, that plastic insulator right there, what's going to happen is that battery is going to be firing off the minute you tighten this thing back down. That battery is going to fire. That's not how it works. You have to be able to push that firing pin. So there's two ways of solving it. Number one, you can either ship the thing back to whoever you got it from and get them to send you a replacement, or you can actually fix it yourself. And there's an easy way of doing it if you happen to have the correct tools. If you get one of these and that thing is sitting flush with that plastic insulator and it's firing the minute you put that battery inside of it and that tank on it and she's already spewing, then you have an option of being able to fix it. If you happen to have a grinding wheel or know someone who does have a grinding wheel that grinds metal, you can take and shave that right here. You can take and shave that firing pin down until it sits below at the bottom of that ring. Now that's only if. If you don't have one, or if you do not know how to use one, then please don't go doing it. You can lose a finger, or you could lose your firing pin, because those things are spinning pretty fast. The firing pin is actually solid brass, believe it or not. Even for a clone, that's pretty good. The firing pin is actually solid brass, which is really nice. This piece, and this piece, which looks like gold, it's actually brass coated. It's not real brass. It's not phantom brass either. Now some clones may be phantom brass, but this particular one's not. The top piece where the deck mount is the same way. This actually is your connection. This is your top connection. Now it'll come apart too, but I'm not going to fool with taking it apart. This will actually lower itself a little bit. If you watch it, you can see you can see it kind of grow out a little bit. It's a spring-loaded floating pin, meaning that when you put your tank on top, it's going to lower itself down to allow whatever length this particular shaft might be to go down in it, which is a really nice thing. The inside of it is clean. When I got it, it's perfectly clean. You can see, now I'm not going to break this thing all the way down into its 7 pieces. You can see them. Here's 2 of them I got in my hand. Here's the top cap. Here's the firing pin. This is one piece. This is another plate. This is another piece. This is another piece. And of course you have your top crown. So you have the big crown and the top small crown. And within these 4, the configurations pretty much will go about 3 or 4 different ways that you can mount these things up. And that's the reason that most people call it the transformer, and you know, the Ironman thing is just a nifty little way of selling it. I'll go ahead and put this thing back together and show you how it works. Now, I don't run the kick, but now this thing will actually extend out for you to run a 18650 with a kick. But I don't never run a kick, so it doesn't really bother me. Put that there back on, and then I'm going to tighten it down. And when you get it fully tightened down with an 18650, no kick, that's how tall it's going to wind up being. I mean, it's a pretty good length. It's big enough you can hold it in your hand. And I'm going to put this particular tank, I'm going to be doing a review on this tank later. This is my Prometheus clone. So let's see how it works. And my Prometheus is about empty too, so it's not putting out a whole lot. But it does work. It fires every time you push that button. And that button's not real stiff either. Some people, some of the clones that are coming out, and even some of the new ones, the actual authentic pieces are coming out, and the firing buttons are kind of stiff. This one's pretty easy to push. It's a pinky fire. It literally will fire with just your pinky pressing it. Yep, it's a really good piece, even though it is a clone. Like I said, I'll put the name and everything of the eBay dealer that I bought it off of on here. Because I like the authentic stuff, and there's a few authentics that I really want to get eventually. But the clones, to me, some of them are just as good, if not better, than the real thing. And the reason I say that is because when you go out and you look and you buy the original, sometimes there's little quirks with it that either you have to tweak it or you just have to live with it. And the people who have went out and gotten these things, and the cloners who are doing it, are machining them, they went out and they bought them, and they found the little quirks in them, the little oopses and boo-boos, and they went back and they've redone them themselves, and all the oopses and boo-boos are no longer there. They've totally redone it. Even though it looks identical to the original, it's actually functioning the way it's supposed to function. Because the original, for whatever reason, they didn't quite do this right, or they didn't quite get that right, or whatever the case may be. And now, one thing I do want to stress on the Maraxus clone that I got is I do want to show you one thing, and I have not cleaned this thing. But you can look right down inside there and you can see that it is totally clean. There's no machining oil, there's no grease, there's nothing. Now, I'm not saying that the dealer did that, but that shows that the manufacturer, when they got done with it, they cleaned up the product before they shipped it. And to me, that's really nice, because that means I don't have to break it totally apart, clean it up, then put it back together, put my battery in it, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, this is the Maraxus. And by the way, with or without the battery, with the battery out of it, it's heavy. It's a heavy piece. With the battery in it, it's an even heavier piece. You mount this sucker with a tank, and it's an extremely hefty piece of equipment. It's not for somebody who wants to walk around with a light little E-pin or whatever in their hand. You know, yeah, it's a hefty piece of equipment, but it works really well. And as far as the battery life, like I said, I'm just running the Plano 18650s, and I usually get about 2 days out of these things before I have to change them. Now, granted, you're going to get a voltage drop, and the vapor production may kind of start to diminish slightly after so long, but I'm not a cloud chaser. I don't go out for the epic clouds to begin with, so a little bit of voltage drop really doesn't bother me. The flavor's still there. It hits real good. It gives you that real crisp hit when you're getting it. You're getting that full flavorness from it. So to me personally, a little bit of voltage drop really ain't that big of a deal. But yeah, I get about 2 days out of my 18650s. And most of my tanks, well, actually all these tanks are running dual coil. So, but like I said, this is a well worth it mech mod clone if you guys are looking to buy one. I'll put that out there in the description and everything for you guys to be able to find it. Or if you find anybody else on eBay, or just going and buying the real thing if you want to try to get that out there. These are about $40 on eBay, give or take, and the real things I think are like $200, somewhere in that neighborhood. So 40 to 200, I don't really mind a clone. It just really doesn't bother me. But yeah, anyway, that is the Maraxus Ironman / Transformer clone mech mod review. And remember, this is my new slogan, and I'm going to be ending all my videos with it from now on. So see if I can remember it. Vape proud, vape free, and vape on.